What is going on, guys? Today I am installing rock lights. Now, it has been some time since I have uploaded a video. Probably have a guess if you've seen on my Instagram. I did post a picture of what I bought about 5 weeks ago, and it is right here behind the camera. However, that is not for today's video. Today's video is talking about these rock lights, so if you want to see what is coming next, hit that subscribe button for me right now. So tonight we're doing rock lights with the best rock lights on the market. It is the mPower silicone 4-inch lights. These things are absolutely insane. They are super duper bright. We're going to be testing that here in just a second. The main reason why these things are super absolutely insanely perfect for rock lights, because these lights here are silicone based. They are not plastic, they are not rubber, they are silicone, which means they do not chip, they do not get damaged, they don't cause any issues when you're going underwater. Everything is perfectly sealed, it is indestructible, and these lenses, because they're silicone, do not yellow. If anything, the UV lights actually clear them up, unlike other brands in which all their lights and LEDs start to yellow over time. I'm going to mount it where they're not going to hit rocks, but rocks will be chipped up and hit them. Water's going to hit them, all that stuff. So it is super great to have these indestructible lights in those sensitive areas. If you can count here, I'm going to be putting eight. I'm going to put 8 of them underneath my Jeep. And helping me out tonight is my buddy Justin here. And if there is anybody who knows anything about lights, it is this guy. His 4Runner is absolutely insanely built with lights for everything. Let's jump out there and go take a look at that real quick, and then you'll see exactly why I got this guy out here. Let's go. So as a tester, I do have ground set up that I'm gonna hook up to, the ground on here. And I have the power. Okay, yep, I shouldn't have looked at that. Whew, that is bright. This thing is absolutely insanely bright, especially I'm gonna use it for rock lights. I really hope I don't make my neighbors angry by flashing this light across the yard at pretty much their house. Oops. Didn't think that went through. So as you can see, those are really, really bright for just that little 4-inch little LED strip, basically. Oh, I am excited to start working on this and get these all tucked up and see where we can mount them. But first, let's work on the wiring. Each of these has a draw of 12 volts at 12 watts. Using a little math there is 1 amp per light, which means all of them can run off of one 16 gauge wire. Now, I'm not going to be doing a 16 gauge wire for all of them. I'm going to split it up into 2 separate wire chains. Driver wheel well, driver underneath, driver rear wheel well, and the rear bumper. Then on the passenger side, I'm going to go for front wheel well, rear wheel well, underneath, and the front bumper. 40-inch tires. Yeah, it makes that a little struggle for me. I'm not that tall. Even though I am doing this on a Jeep Wrangler, you could be doing this on pretty much any vehicle that you have. Pretty much the same exact process, same setup that I have here. You could throw into something else like a 4Runner, an FJ, a Bronco, or shoot, even if your Nissan Sentra wants to have some lights on it, you could throw some on there too. Underneath the hood here, I have my aux beam kind of power brick that kind of controls everything. So it has all the fuses, everything is all in line, all the relays and everything is all built into this. So when I go into my fuse box inside, flick a switch, it comes to here, turns it on, and boom, there we go. Okay, well that makes it easy. There's only one spot left on the box, and I already pre-labeled it as rock lights. So up here, it does say a 5 amp. I am going to swap that out with a 10 amp. So the very first thing we want to do is run the length of wire that we need. So I'm going to have my awesome assistant come over here and hold the end of this for me. Haha! So I'm going to be running this down the length of the Jeep, and I'm going to be following like the fender wells all the way down. Run one wire for the main system and then splice into that as we go. This is what we're doing here. I have these alligator clips clicked up like I was doing earlier for the testing, and they are hooked up to the light. Now, doing the light here like this, we can go back and forth and see just exactly where we have the lights pointing at. So I don't want it down here because, as you can see, it's kind of blinding you now. I don't want to do that to anybody else on the trail. I don't want to put it up over here because then I'm going to be working with the fenders, and if I have to pull the fenders off or for some reason they rip off, I don't want that to come off with it. And looking at, say, where my tires have rubbed in the past, I don't really want to put it right where those are at. So what I'm thinking is up underneath here, right up underneath the fender on the fender liner. With the wire cut to where we want it, it is time to just run it to each different section. Now, this is going to be different for each vehicle if you're not going to be doing a Jeep, if you're going to have different fender wells, things of that sort. So I'm going to run these first and get them all prepped and ready, and then we're going to jump back to it and I'm going to show you what we do next. So to mount this up, I'm going to pre-mount this, get it all prepped and ready before I actually wire it all in place. But to do that, there's this wire bundle that's in the back of the light. That has to go somewhere. I'm going to drill a hole in the back of where I want to mount this. Not this, back of the Jeep, where I want to mount this. Run the wires through that instead. So because I like symmetry and I hate having lights off-centered, I'm going to measure out on this front brace here. Now I know what you're saying is this front brace is beat up pretty well because I do actually take this rock crawling. I haven't hit any rocks on it since I did lift it and put 40s on there. So in theory, I shouldn't be hitting it often. But that is where this metal bracket is going to be tested. I will definitely let you guys know how this works out over time and if this gets beaten up or what. With a large hole made for the wires, we just put it up there and then mark out where the screws go. These screws, if you do a 3/3 second, you screw them right on into the metal and they hold just fine. With everything now installed, it comes down to connecting the wires. So we got to connect the obviously red to red and black to black. I am a huge fan of using solder. You could use anything you really want with that. These specifically, the little wires on here are really small, so if you do wire connectors, it does cause you a little difficulty. You got to find some really small wire connectors. I'm just going to solder them together because I like solder. And don't forget heat shield or heat shrink or heat wrap or whatever you want to call it before you start soldering, because that'll help protect it and keep it out of the elements. Also helps protect from shorts and things of that sort for your power line. I just got to strip them, both the red and the black ones here, and since I am going to be soldering this so I can crimp it a little bit better for a connector, I'm going to solder some black wire onto the black wire on here just so I have that better, easier grab on there for the wire connector to create the ground. Once everything is all clipped and prepped, tie those things together and solder them together. And then don't forget the heat wrap or the heat shrink. Make sure you get that on there. I have messed up before how to clip it, add it in, and then resolder once again afterwards. Once it's all soldered up, everything looks all nice and good to go. It is time to start tucking the wires up. Probably ground it straight to the frame using a connector with a self-tapper screw right on in. Makes it pretty easy, makes ground pretty much anywhere you want it. And because I like to test everything before I give it a good button up, just double check and make sure this light works. Yeah. Awesome. That light definitely does work, which means I need to tie that light into all the rest of the lights and then make sure and wire tie every single wire up, everything out of the way so nothing snags. So I'm gonna run through that, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna show you exactly where each and every one of these lights are, how it's all ran, and how all the wires are hidden so you can't see it. All right, everything's all nice and buttoned up, so let's head out to the cul-de-sac out here and let's turn them on. Let's check them out. Let's see how bright it is. Granted, it is the suburbs, I do have street lights. This should be a good example of how bright the rock lights really are. And just for giggles, let's turn on all the lights. Let's put it in my house so I don't blind anybody else out. I do also have some lights that I added my steering knuckles when I did my full 1-ton swap. These lights are also by mPower, which they are awesome. I get rock chips all over them and not even a scuff. All right, and that will do it for the ultimate rock lights. I am going to be putting this to the test and testing out, especially that front and that rear bumper one. I'm hoping not to smash them, but if they do, they do. I'm excited. Also, literally right here is the new project. So you definitely want to subscribe and get ready. Hit that notification bell, because this project that the camera is literally up against is going to be an epic project that I am actually partway through. So hit that subscribe button for me, hit that notification bell for me, hit that like button for this video, and I'm going to see you guys all next time.
Oh yeah.
All of them can run off of a 16 gauge light. Not light. It's lit, yo. That was stupid. Each one is going to be a draw of 14 volts. No, 14 volts.